In the great ocean of the south of the great kingdom of Cristella, between the great reef of Hewjacks and the great shipwreck graveyard of the War of the 5 Great Kings, lay an island that was considered by all great men of the time to be entirely mediocre. On this island, there was a small town of new settlers that in the last 10 years had made a discovery that if those same great men had found out about, their opinions may be slightly altered, and a bloody war would almost certainly follow. Luckily for the residents of the town, the discovery had not been made by any of these great men, but in fact, a great woman, Myja Caligari. The Caligari family had gained much respect for the discovery, and now resided in the biggest home of the village atop a small hill that overlooked the coast. A picturesque home that contained within a family on the brink of imploding at each other.
Honey, do you know where my notes on magical interfacing are?
The honey in question is Azer Caligari, leader of the hunters of the village who, by some, are unaffectionately yet accurately referred to as the meatheads.
They're wherever you left them, dear. I don't touch your work, you know that.
Oh, thank you, dear. Very helpful.
Now, where is my double-sided broad axe? The one with the engravings?
I don't know why you need it. You never use it. The thing is entirely impractical.
It's not about using it. I've got to have it at the meeting. It's tradition.
Nobody cares about the axe except you, Dad. It'll be fine.
That's Zeffan, the eldest of the 2 children in the Caligari family, at 24 years of age.
Thank you for your input, son. Are you ready to go? We should be on our way by now.
Yeah, Dad. I've just got to finish breakfast.
Well, you're not ready then, are you? Hurry up.
Ah, Myja.
Mum, whatever it is, can I please eat first?
And finally, Myja Caligari, the youngest child at 20 years old, and whose role in this story is of the utmost importance.
All right.
Zeffan, we have to set up before the council meeting.
Yes, all right. Let me wash up.
We have more important things to do than washing up.
Well, if I don't, then who will?
Don't take that tone with me. 2 minutes, then we go. Where is that sodding axe?
Where are you off to?
A council meeting about the next hunting trip.
Okay. And why are you going?
You think I want to go? It's not exactly my first choice.
Right, Myja. Good news. You are going to be training with Mrs. the seamstress.
Seamstress? Are you kidding me?
You know you're always welcome to help me with my research, but as I've said a million times, you must follow my rules, and that means being careful and considerate. I will not allow you to be...
Myself?
Oh, you know that's not what I mean. But you need to prove to me that you won't be irresponsible, and training with the seamstress is a great way to show me that you can be responsible, okay?
Not to mention, she's now the only person willing to train you.
All right.
You found your axe yet?
No.
Have you tried under the bed, dear? That's always the last place you look.
I'll try there. Are you going to wear your necklace to the meeting?
The one you got me for our engagement? No, dear. I thought I'd wear a new necklace for the first time in 30 years. Of course I will. Myja, 9 a.m. sharp at the seamstress. Show me some responsibility and we can work on experimenting with the ambrosia together again. Okay?
Okay. Maybe if you hadn't have given me all the boring jobs, I would have been able to actually do something.
Ha!
What?
She's right, you know. You can't keep barreling your way through everything and expect people to hand things to you on a plate. Especially this magic stuff. It's dangerous. Maybe Mrs. Brunel will show you how to rein it in a bit.
Mrs. Brunel?
The seamstress.
Oh, whatever. I didn't hear you complaining when I figured out how to use the messenger stones.
Hey, not so loud. Mum isn't supposed to know we're testing the rocks, remember? And anyway, screaming at a stone until it does something isn't exactly what I'd call figuring something out.
Hey, that's not fair. I threw it about a bit first.
Yes, there's that careful approach Mum's looking for. Look, she's right, okay? We don't know what all these things do yet, and some of them could be dangerous.
Yeah, they could. But we're never going to find out if we just sit around not doing anything.
I know. But we could both be more careful. And Mrs. Brunel is a nice lady. I'm sure she'll have something important to teach you.
You reckon? Why don't you go and train with her then?
Hey, you want to swap? You and Dad can go to meetings together and listen to his boring speeches. And I'll chill with Mrs. Brunel. Maybe have a nice cup of tea.
You're so boring sometimes. But fine. You should just tell Dad that you don't like hunting.
Yeah, because that will go down really well.
He'll go on one of his trips soon enough and forget all about it.
I think he'd remember that his only son was supposed to be with him.
Sure, like he's aware of anything when he's away.
Zeffan, I found it. We're leaving now.
All right, I'm coming. Look, Myja, just give Mrs. Brunel a chance, yeah?
Yeah, I will.
Mrs. Brunel's workshop was east of the Caligari residence. It was kept in pristine condition by Mrs. Brunel's own maintenance every day, and inside were a wide array of contraptions neatly spaced apart, where Myja would have most certainly died of complete boredom, had she in fact headed east after leaving home, but instead she headed west. She passed by the blacksmith, Mr. Ghabian, who politely but sternly inquired,
Morning, Myja. Aren't you supposed to be headed to Mrs. Brunel's workshop?
Yeah. The whole town though, huh? I'm just heading to pick up some research notes from her old office.
and the carpenter, who asked,
That wouldn't happen to be her office by Crystal Canyon now, would it?
That's the one. Got to hurry. She needs the notes for the meeting.
and one of the young lumberjacks carrying large jars of an amber liquid that always moved in a container like gentle waves upon a golden beach, who questioned,
You help your mum get things from there a lot. Makes me wonder why she doesn't move everything from that old place.
Yeah, just one of life's mysteries, I suppose.
Well, you better be quick. She'll want to be prepared for the meeting. Mr. Ghabian will be sure to let her know you're on your way if you don't get there before him.
Will do.
Eventually, Myja made it to the old dig site, known as Crystal Canyon, the place where the rocks that contained some form of magical energy had first been found. These rocks each have a shimmery property to them that often got mistaken for crystal. Each group of rocks had a distinct colour, from brilliant yellows to mellow greens. At one point, the Crystal Canyon had been the greatest discovery, but figuring out how and if the rocks could be used had proved a greater challenge than expected. So, when another discovery had overshadowed the Crystal Canyon, the site had quickly been abandoned, to be returned to, at a later date, by Myja, who could freely explore the site and collect rocks for her and her brother to experiment with in their own time. Myja briskly passed her mum's old office that had remained completely untouched since it was abandoned 20 years ago, and headed to the opening of the canyon, where, to her surprise, she saw a figure in a long, dirtied coat peering over the edge.
Hello?
What are you doing here?
I'm collecting some things for my mother. Who are you?
Yes. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. I wasn't expecting to run into anyone. It's just been quite some time since I'm Zarous. I used to live in the village, but now now I don't.
I don't know anyone called Zarous.
No, I don't suppose you would. It was quite some time ago when I left. I guess I wasn't mentioned much. What are you, 16? You would have been quite young.
I'm 20.
20? My, it has been a long time. Sorry, do you even know what this place is?
Yeah, it's where the town used to collect stones before they gave up trying to figure out how to use them.
No, absolutely not. It's where we collected stones until they realized how dangerous they were.
Dangerous? I mean, I suppose you could fall, but there's plenty of ledges, and only really need a small amount of rope to...
Not the canyon itself. The stones. You call them stones?
Yeah?
Not crystals?
Well, they aren't actually crystals. They can be close in appearance, but the structure is much more simplistic under that shimmer they give off.
Yes. Well, of course, it is fascinating how the simpler the structure, the more potent the magical potential. which suggests a fairly primal source. But how do you know about the stones?
Well, everybody knows of the stones, but you actually know about them. Do you know how to make them work? Or how the different colours work? Could you show me?
No, you mustn't. No one should be using... No one... What are you doing here? No one's supposed to come here.
Well, what are you doing here then?
You said you were collecting your mother's things, but the only person that... You're Xyla and Azir's daughter, aren't you?
You know my parents.
Oh, it's been a long time indeed. I must be going.
Wait, no! You have to tell me what you know about the stones!
Go home, Myja. You should stay away from things you don't understand.
Zarous quickly bolted away, but if there's one thing you should have learnt about Myja, it's that you should never tell her what not to do. More emboldened than before, Myja headed down the side of the canyon using the route she had travelled 100 times, and then, with a stretch of rope, she headed down beyond where she had ever ventured before. No doubt motivated by Zarous' disapproval, she made her way through a path mined out years prior, when suddenly she heard a sound. Myja cautiously made her way towards the sound, leading her to a small gap in the wall. Though the area was hot and claustrophobic, she could feel a light breeze. She crawled her way through the gap and, when she made it to the other side, she saw a large tunnel glistening with magic from the rocks, and right in front of her lay an injured creature unlike any she had seen before.
Hello?
It was a lizard-like creature, with 4 legs and 2 short, stubby wings. For a moment, Myja thought there might be a resemblance to the tales about drakes that she had heard from the mainland, but this was far too small. The creature was about the size of a small cat, pale white in colour, and it looked up at Myja with its bright yellow eyes as if yearning for her help. One of its wings had been pinned to the ground by a fallen stalactite.
Okay, I've got you. I'm just going to get this off you, buddy, okay? There you go. Hey, it's all right, I can help. You've just got to come a little closer. Yeah, there you go. You're going to be all right.
From within her pocket, Myja pulled out a glowing blue stone and spoke into it.
Zeffan, I need you to meet me at home. Actually, not at home. Meet me by the creek.
The stone dimmed, reaching the maximum amount of words a message stone can send.
At the top of Widow's Wood.
And pulsated slowly, awaiting response from the paired stone.
The creek? Myja, I'm about to go to the meeting. I can't just leave. And you're supposed to be at...
Myja scrambled through her bag to find another blue stone.
I know. I need you to get some ambrosia and meet me at the creek in Widow's... Damn it!
Ambrosia? Are you okay, Myja? Oh, what the hell happened? Why couldn't you just go to Mrs. Brunel's? I swear, sometimes you...
Will you stop being so dramatic and just go to the creek, the one at Widow's Wood? Get there now.
Fine, but when Dad kills me for not being at the meeting, I am coming back to haunt you.
Myja raced to the creek that was south of town, clutching the small creature bundled in cloth in her arms, sprinting past many of the people she had passed before, including the blacksmith, who looked disapproving but wasn't able to get a word out before Myja had gotten well out of the way. It didn't take her long to reach the creek, and she carefully put the creature down.
There you go, little one. Sorry I had to keep you up in my bag, but some of the villagers aren't too friendly towards some creatures, and I didn't want to take any chances. Now, I've just got to clean your wing before I bandage it, okay? Hey, none of that. It's got to be done. Okay. My dad always told me stories when I was hurt. How about I tell you one of those, huh?
To Myja's surprise, the dragon settled down and looked at her in the eye expectantly. She quickly remembered most of her dad's stories were about his own perilous quests that involved slaying of many a wild creature, and her mind reeled trying to find an appropriate story for a creature she was mostly sure couldn't understand her anyway.
Okay, let's see. There was this old myth from the mainland that my grandmother used to tell my brother and I when we were younger. At first, there was nothing, just inky darkness, and then a speck, and then another. They were minuscule at first. Circling each other, they began to grow, slowly, and then all at once. One was ice cold and the other blistering hot, and both burned as ferociously as the other. Soon, when they were burning blindingly bright, they collided. And then, because they knew no different, they fought, ice against fire, raging on and on and on. Over time, the entities created forms. From fire emerged giants, and from ice rose creatures. And on they raged, for eons and eons. But slowly, as time went on, they grew tired. No longer did they possess the biting fierceness that made them fight merely because they were opposite. And so, a final battle ensued, both sides giving everything they had to finally settle the conflict. The two sides collided, fire melting ice to only be engulfed by water. The Titans were slaved, and the water became the very oceans of our world, from which life thrived. Some say the creatures in the ocean are remnants of the ice creatures, and the Trakes of the mainland are the descendants of the fire Titans.
Myja, can you hear me? Myja!
Yeah, I'm over here.
Are you all right? What is so important that you couldn't just tell me? You're supposed to be at the seamstresses right now. I know you don't like it, but you promised you were going to start taking some responsibility. What the hell? What is that?
I found it.
And you just took it?
He was injured.
It's a wild animal. You can't just take it.
Well, I did. So just help me heal him.
No way.
He needs our help.
Fine.
From within his bag, Zeffan produced a small jar of the amber liquid that radiated warmth and looked like waves on a golden beach, and they began to apply it to the little creature's wounds.
What the hell even is this? Is it a drake?
No, it's too small for that. And look at him. He's white. I've never heard of a white drake, have you?
Where did you find him?
I'll tell you if you promise you won't be mad.
Seriously?
Just promise.
I promise I won't be mad.
I found him at the tunnels.
Tunnels?
At the Crystal Cannon.
Myja!
You promised!
I'm not mad, but we're supposed to go together. What if something happened to you down there?
I would have sent you a message, dummy.
That doesn't mean you're off the hook. You still took whatever the hell this thing is, and you can't pretend you don't know how dangerous that is. Do you expect me to believe you had no idea what you were doing?
He was injured. He doesn't want to hurt me.
You can't know what he wants. Just because he isn't attacking you now doesn't mean he won't later.
It's tiny. It can't do that much harm.
What if it's tiny? Because it's a baby. And somewhere, Mummy is getting very irate right now.
I didn't think. I just...
Of course you don't. You never do. But the rest of us still have to fix your mistakes.
I'm sorry.
I know. Just... We'll deal with it.
Okay.
On the bright side, it looks like your healing's getting better.
You think so?
Yeah, the little guy looks happy. You made sure to clean everything before you put the bandages on, right?
Yep.
Good. He'll be good as new in no time. Let's just hope that's a good thing.
The sound draws their attention to Myja's bag. She pulled out an orange stone and looked at Zeffan with fear in her eyes.
Something's coming.
It's quiet, though. It'll have to be a little way off. Have you got a barrier stone?
Yeah, a couple, I think.
Okay, get ready to smash one if it gets too close. The barrier might last long enough for it to get bored and leave us be. Hopefully.
When did you become an expert on monsters?
Since I caught the first half of Dad's talk on them. Shame I had to rush off and help my sister before I learned the great ways to deal with one head-on.
Like you could take one on anyway.
It's getting closer.
Well, you were at Dad's talk. You've got a weapon, right?
No. But it's okay as long as we stay quiet.
Myja, where are you?
Was that...
Mum!
We have to warn her!
If we shout, we'll lure it to us.
She's going to keep shouting for us. We can find her, bury her up and wait it out.
But she doesn't know we've been experimenting with the rocks. She'll be livid.
Better than her being eaten by whatever's out there. Let's go!
They began to sprint through the woods, heading towards where they last heard Xyla's voice. In her hand, Myja gripped a glowing green rock, ready to use at any moment.
I still can't see her.
From the darkness of the forest emerged a large creature, similar in the form of a deer, but with incredible blue teeth and jagged antlers.
Where is she?
Myja, make the barrier!
Mum!
Now!
Myja had smashed the rock into the ground below her, and from within, a beautiful green barrier radiated out, covering her and Zeffan, just as the deer creature collided into the side.
Is it still out there?
Maybe it got knocked out when it hit the barrier.
Or maybe it's going after Mum right now. We have to drop the barrier.
We can't. What if it's just out there, waiting?
You're the one that said it would get bored and move on.
Yeah, in like 10 minutes, not 30 seconds.
What if it's chasing Mum right now? We have to help her.
What stones do you have?
One more barrier stone, a couple of message stones, and the detection stone. Have you got anything other than the message stones?
No, nothing but the ambrosia, and it's barely enough to fix a paper cut.
Right, okay. We need a distraction. I can get it to chase me while you get Mum. There's enough barrier stones to protect us both.
No way, I'm not letting you get yourself killed.
Why not? I'm faster, I can lead it away. We don't have time to argue about this.
I can't keep you and Mum safe if you're constantly putting yourself in danger.
We can't help Mum at all when we're in here.
Myja pushed against the barrier.
No, Myja, stop!
Whilst, on the outside, the barrier acted like a brick wall. From within, it's almost liquid-like, and small amount of force is enough to...
Mum!
We're not going to make it!
Myja collided with her mother, and they fell to the floor in a heap.
Mum, what the...
From ahead of them, the creature appeared, a spear lodged in its throat.
Did you...
The barrier!
Zeffan? Honey?
Hey, Mum. Just try to lie still.
What's happening?
You got hurt, but we're safe for now. We just need to get home and everything will be okay.
Myja noticed the large wound on the side of her mother's chest. The edges of the wound were glazed in a frost-like substance that was trickling down, reacting with the raw, red flesh and turning it a sickly black colour. She continued to watch, frozen in place as Zeffan scrambled for the ambrosia in his bag.
Myja.
Hey.
You're supposed to be...
I know. I'm sorry.
Mum, no, don't fall asleep.
I'm sorry.
Open your eyes, Mum. Mum.
What do we do?
I don't know.
Well, we have to get out of here.
And how do you suggest we do that?
All right, I was just saying.
I know. But we're out of anything useful, and now that it's got a taste of our blood and our scent, that thing isn't going anywhere.
We could distract it.
With what?
I'm just trying to think up solutions.
And you think I'm not?
Well, what's your idea then?
I don't... Myja, I've got nothing. We don't know how much abuse this barrier will take. And it'll run out in like 20 minutes, no matter what. I just... What the hell?
We're not supposed to be able to hear anything outside the barrier.
There must have been another creature out there.
Casually, the tiny creature Myja had saved walked through the barrier and nestled in Myja's lap, immediately falling asleep.
He just walked through the barrier.
That's not possible.